Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. This isn't going to be an Excel tutorial, but maybe you've come to this YouTube channel for Excel tips and tricks, but you also have a lot of ideas that you either want to implement in your day job or on the side, and you don't really know where to start. And if that's someone like you, this is a good video for you today. Also, if you're someone that comes to this channel for Excel tips and tricks, but just wants to know a little bit more about HowToAnalyst and what it is and where it's going, this is also going to be a great video for you, because today I'm walking through the six-step framework from the Lean Startup, which is a popular piece of literature in business and technology and entrepreneurship that I applied to my blog, HowToAnalyst.com, which I actually started in 2015. But in addition, I also started a newsletter, a podcast, a website, a YouTube channel, way too much stuff. I got super frustrated and I quit. And this time, I still think there's a business opportunity here, but I really wanted to approach it differently and not fail in the same way that I failed previously. And so I learned this Lean Startup framework when I went and got my MBA at the Georgia Institute of Technology. Shout out to the Yellow Jackets. And so I'm going to walk you through this six-step framework, show you how I applied it to my business. And so let's get started. Quickly, a couple definitions that are essential before we dive into the six-step process. So product market fit and minimum viable product, right? So every new business wants product market fit. And that means that the venture has the right product for the market. With demonstrated demand from early adopters and solid profit potential. So if you're a new venture and you don't get product market fit, you're going to fail. So all new ventures are looking for product market fit. And a minimum viable product is a mechanism that can help you find product market fit in a lean and agile way. So the smallest set of features or activities needed to test a business model hypothesis or to complete a build, measure, learn cycle. That's the definition of a minimum viable product. So all new ventures want product market fit. If they don't get it, they're going to fail. And the minimum viable product is a way to get product market fit. And so let's dive into the six-step vision, the six-step plan, the first step of which is developing a vision. And a vision for your business. And so this step comes really easily to me. I like to think into the future. I like to think about what the world's going to look like and how businesses can help people in the future. So there's really three tenets to my vision. 11 years ago, Mark Andreessen famously said software is eating the world, and it's hard to argue that. So everything is done through software. You order your food through software. You certainly complete your day job through software. You connect with friends through software. So software has eaten the world, and it stands to reason that if software has eaten the world, then those who master software can master the world. So HowToAnalyst is here to help my users master software. In addition, businesses are remote and in the cloud, and especially through the pandemic, the CEO of Microsoft came out and said that there's been 2 years of digital transformation in just 2 months during the pandemic. And so that's gotten rid of the water cooler talks that used to exist. And so there's a place where coworkers can share best practices and learn about software online, and that's what I want HowToAnalyst.com to be. And lastly, this one's a little bit out there, but a famous Stanford professor famously proclaimed that if you want to see where business and leadership and software is going, look at the video game industry. And so enterprise software is slowly becoming more like video games, right? And becoming part of the culture. So if you look at what's happening with video games, You've got the rise of these streaming platforms like Twitch and Stadia, where that's not even the software that people are playing, but it's just the mechanism for streaming. And so is there a day in the future where people are actually streaming their work and sharing that at a place like HowToAnalyst.com? I think that it could happen, and that's why I am starting this business. And so the second thing, coffee break, the second step is you want to translate that vision into falsifiable hypotheses. So you've got this big, grandiose vision. You need to translate those into falsifiable hypotheses. And the most important part is falsifiability, because that's what allows you to go out and test and determine whether you're making the right assumptions about your business. So I went ahead and did that. I took my vision and I listed it out into falsifiable hypotheses, which you can see here. But moving forward, you're going to have to actually specify some tests to test those hypotheses in the marketplace. And that's what the third test is specify your minimum viable product tests. And here is an example, or kind of two tenets of an MVP test: constrained functionality and constrained operations. Because the product that you take to market initially isn't going to have all the features and the bells and whistles that the same product will have in 2 or 3 years. You're going to have constrained functionality. You're going to have constrained operations. And this video actually contains both for me personally in my business with HowToAnalyst.com. I think the audio on these videos isn't great. I think the video can lag sometimes, and it can be a little bit grainy, but that's an example of constrained functionality. And as an entrepreneur, I'm willing to allow those less than ideal situations persist, because I don't think it's going to prevent me from finding product market fit with my business, at least initially. That's my hypothesis. And in addition, this video has constrained operations because I'm editing this video, and I'm a terrible video editor. And so if this business were to grow and scale, one of the first things I would have to do is stop editing the video because I'm not very good at it. And so I went through and I specified my MVP tests to say, what are the metrics that I'm looking for to validate whether my assumptions and hypotheses are correct, and then how am I going to constrain functionality and operations. And so the fourth step is to prioritize those MVP tests, which I've already done here. And if you go back to step 2, a lot of my falsifiable hypotheses about my business rely on finding an audience online. So all of my early MVP tests are associated with finding an audience online, because I can't do anything else that I want to do unless I've found an audience online that I can add value to. So these are my MVP tests that I've been executing over the first quarter of this year, and the average monthly views and subscribers that I want to see to validate those hypotheses, that's something that the marketplace actually wants to see. Quickly on prioritizing tests, you want to prioritize the tests that have the lowest effort but the highest impact. And so if you're prioritizing high effort, low impact tests, that's not where you want to be, because you need to move quickly and figure out what the marketplace responds to, and then forget about the things that don't work. And so at that point, you go out and you execute those tests. And that's exactly what I've done over the first quarter of this year. And so what did I learn from the tests that I have? And you can go out and see those tests on this YouTube channel. So always tell a story, right? Even though I'm talking about Excel and software, there's still an opportunity to tell a story, to identify who's your audience and what is the message that you want them to get at the end of the video. In addition, I think video length and title are related. I've had a few videos that are a bit longer that haven't performed as well because the title wasn't sufficient, and vice versa. I think there's an opportunity for longer videos, assuming that the title can guide the audience into what they're going to learn. I measured engagement using subscribers. I don't think that's the right metric. I think likes is the right metrics to start, because subscribers is a little bit further down the funnel. I learned that distribution matters, right? My first video was sent out to my email distribution list, and the subsequent videos I did not. And that first video continues to outperform that was sent out via my distribution list. So if you're on that list, get ready, because I'm sending all my videos out moving forward. And then I want to identify and track important variables. Length. So I went through and identified the important variables for my business for each video, so I can track over time which ones are leading to a higher increase in engagement in those views and comments, actually, and likes, which I'm going to measure moving forward. But like things like, who's your audience? What was the message? What was the title? What was the length? Those are the important variables that I want to track from video to video to determine how behavior differs from video to video. So the sixth step in the process is, hey, are you going to persevere? Are you going to pivot? Or are you going to perish with your ideas? And so in this instance, I'm going to pivot. I think I've got another quarter of build, measure, learn cycles. I've learned a lot. So moving forward, I'm going to keep my topics the same. I picked two topics: Excel, troubleshooting Excel errors, and Excel keyboard shortcuts. I have some data that says that there's plenty of demand for those topics, and so it's up to me to figure out how to build an audience around those topics. I'm going to start testing the relationship between title and length, right? I think that my audience is willing to sit through a longer video, assuming that the title indicates that they're going to learn plenty. So top 6 keyboard shortcuts for beginner, best keyboard shortcuts for entering formulas fast, using some titles that explain all of the different things that they're going to learn, but the video might be in the 6 to 10 minute range. And so that's really it. That's the 6-step process that I applied to HowToAnalyst.com. Most importantly, hey, are you going to implement something like this in your business or in your job? Let me know in the comments. And if you're not, well, tell me why. If this was a total waste of time, let me know. If you liked this video, then like it and click the like button. And lastly, if you want to stay up to date, mostly on Excel tips and tricks, subscribe to my YouTube channel. But I'm also going to do some of these type more meta business videos every quarter as I continue to grow out HowToAnalyst.com. Thanks so much for tuning in.